Odell Beckham, DeAndre Swift, Brandin Cooks. What do these three have in common? Stay tuned to find out. Let's go. So let's talk about three players who have old faces but are in new places. Let's look at it. For starters, let's look at OBJ. He went from the Los Angeles Rams to the Baltimore Ravens. Now, he was hurt last year. She didn't play last year. But let's just call it what it is. He went from the Rams to the Ravens in the offseason. He's fully healthy, so he should be back. Shouldn't have any issues as far as the health goes. He does have issues with health in his career. But once again, he's had a whole all season to get fully healthy. Let's see what he can do with all that time. And let's hope that his hammies don't pull himself. He should be the number 2 option in the offense. You could say it's number 2, number 3. You got guys like Rashad Bateman. You got Mark Andrews. But on any given game plan, he's going to be the number 2 option. Some weeks it might be Mark Andrews number 1. Some weeks it might be Rashad Bateman as the number 1 option. But regardless of the fact, OBJ should be the number 2 in the offense. The offense should also be a lot more pass heavy. You got Lamar Jackson back on the team. Signed that nice little contract. But they do want to be a little more pass heavy this year. See what he's going to do. They just signed him for almost $300 million. They don't want to have him running the ball 25 times a game. I understand this is bread and butter, but you're going to have a lot less design runs and a lot less options for him to just run the ball from a pass play. You don't see none. You want to truck it down the field, that's one thing. But they're not going to have 10 design runs for him. So once again, OBJ, his fantasy value, you could say it stays the same, going from the Rams to the Baltimore Ravens. But once again, let's see what he does in his new home. Let's look at option number 2. Miles Sanders went from sharing the backfield with the Philadelphia Eagles to being the workhorse running back of the Carolina Panthers. No CMC, no Deontay Foreman. They still have Chuba Hubbard, but what is he really going to do anything in that backfield? He couldn't even hold off Deontay Foreman, much less he thinks he's going to hold off Miles Sanders. They also have a rookie QB. Let's see what Bryce Young does. He was the number 1 pick in the draft. Let's calm it down. Let's calm it down. Let's see what he does in the NFL. He was surrounded by talent in Alabama. One could argue he had more talent in Alabama than he has on his Carolina Panthers teams. So let's see if he does it at the NFL level. But nonetheless, a rookie quarterback, his favorite receiver is going to be the running back. Get the ball down, check down city, get the ball out of his hands. I think Bryce Young can handle that. So you're looking at 530 opportunities, more than 530 opportunities. Once again, CMC, Deontay Foreman, you got a lot of guys who's no longer in that offense. As far as attempts and targets that's up for grabs, I think Miles Sanders has a shot to be an RB1 this year. Let's see what he can prove. Once again, Philly didn't want to bring him back. They felt like they had enough with Kenneth Gainwell. They felt like you brought in Rashad Penny. Now, obviously, they just traded for DeAndre Swift, but they didn't know that when they got rid of Miles Sanders. So let's see what he could do in this offense. I do think that with the new face and a new place, it's definitely an upgrade for Miles Sanders. Let's look at wide receiver number 2, Brandin Cooks. Now, one can argue, but you probably won't be listened to if you try to argue this fact. He's going from David Mills to Dak Prescott, from the Houston Texans to the Dallas Cowboys. That right there in itself is an upgrade. Let's also look at the statistics. The Texans were 30th in scoring last year, going from the Cowboys, who's 4th in scoring. So the Texans just wasn't putting up points. The Cowboys were putting points in bunches. Yes, I know some of those points were from the defense, but it doesn't deny the fact that he's going to have better chances to score and better opportunities in this Dallas offense than he will in Houston. Why is that? He won't draw the best corner. In Houston, he was the main attraction. He was the one receiver you wanted to stop. He didn't have anyone else. In Dallas, you have a couple guys on the field. You got guys like Michael Gallup and all that good stuff, but obviously CD is going to draw the headline corner on the opposing team. So Brandin Cooks is going to get maybe the second best corner. He might not even get shadowed at all by any corner specifically. So those things are going to be better for him and his fantasy value. Let's look at last but not least, let's look at DeAndre Swift. You went from the Detroit Lions to the Philadelphia Eagles, which I think is one of the biggest moves, and that's what's going to help his not only his career in fantasy football, but in the NFL also, right? The Lions, they didn't have a bad offensive line last year. They was ranked 8th per PFF. The Eagles, Super Bowl losing Philadelphia Eagles, had first per PFF as far as the offensive line goes. And you got a lot of those key stars returning. One thing about DeAndre Swift is what we've seen throughout his career, unfortunately, is that he doesn't need to be the lead back to have fantasy value. He can have 10 carries and 3 or 4 targets per game and still have fantasy value. But once again, I do think that the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be in better position to score than the Detroit Lions. I do think that Philly not only traded them, he traded them for what I think was a 4th-round pick, 4th or 5th round. So you say that maybe they don't give it that much draft capital. Once again, they did sign Rashad Penny. They let go of Miles Sanders because they had guys on the team that they do like. Rashad Gainwell. But you don't trade for DeAndre Swift to not use him. Once again, they noted that he's fully healthy. They want to get him the ball. And once again, he doesn't have to have 15 to 20 opportunities per game to be fantasy relevant. He could have 10 to 15 opportunities and still be relevant in fantasy. Not all depends on where you draft him at. His ADP is definitely going to matter. But I do think that the change in scenery is definitely going to help DeAndre Swift in his long run. Not only, once again, for his career, but what's mainly important for this channel and not only for all you viewers out there, fantasy football. Thanks for watching.